Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this post, I want to talk about CERN. CERN has become a lot more interesting to me in light of the recent Bangkok, Thailand shrine bombing a Hindu symbol, and also the recent projection of Kali on the Empire State Building in New York, another Hindu symbol. This is interesting in light of CERN because CERN uses the statue of Shiva, one of the main Hindu goddesses, goddess of destruction and change, at their main site in Geneva. Also, this past spring, when CERN relaunched after being shut down for about 2 years, they put out a promotional video, which we will watch, of Shiva doing what is known as the Dance of Destruction. Notice that CERN has 22 member nations, 22 member states, 21 European nations, plus Israel, the Zionist state of Israel, but not the United States. The U.S. is not involved with CERN, supposedly. This is interesting, 22, because CERN has a gematria of 22, and 22 is a number that connects to Revelation. Revelation of 22 books. In Revelation, the number 666 has been made infamous. And notice that CERN's logo seems to have three sixes carefully coded into it. Follow these long lines into the circle. There is 1 6, starting here, a second 6, and starting here, a third 6, 666. Why that's more interesting is because CERN routinely says it is searching for dark matter, something that has a gematria of 666, a simple English gematria of 111, and a Pythagorean gematria of 39. CERN was established September 29, 1954, a date with 111 numerology and with the smaller method 39 numerology, just like dark matter, which CERN says it is searching for. Revelation, the final book of the Bible, is based on the first 39 books of the Old Testament. Show you how all these numbers come together, Truth Seeker. At CERN, the device that is being used to recreate the Big Bang, supposedly, is known as the Large Hadron Collider, which has a connection to Revelation itself. Revelation, the Greek translation of the word revelation, means apocalypse. Apocalypse. Apocalypse is a word with 113 gematria. The word large also has Jewish gematria of 113. As for hadron and collider, they also have interesting coding. The word hadron has gematria of 33, which is the exact same gematria as Big Bang in Genesis. And this hadron collider is being used to recreate the Big Bang. Collider has gematria of 42. Please remember that the original Bible was referred to as the 42-line Bible. I assert that it is the Freemasons who have coded the Bible and put these numbers into it. The word Freemason in Pythagorean gematria is 42, like 42-line Bible. And here, just to read this real quick, what does apocalypse really mean? Apocalypse is derived from the Greek word apocalypsis. Although it's often used to describe a great devastation or cataclysm, the literal meaning of apocalypse is actually an unveiling or revealing, hence the word revelation, from which the book of Revelation gets its name. So see, it doesn't all have to be big and scary. It can just be about bringing something into light, something that was not previously known. And if these people are correct in knowing that there's such a thing as dark matter, well, that would be quite the revelation. That would be a form of apocalypse. All right, Truth Seeker. So we were talking about Shiva. Shiva being this symbol at CERN. This is the statue there. The goddess Shiva. If you go to Wikipedia, you can read about Shiva, goddess of destruction, goddess of transformation, goddess of change. Remember that word change. Shiva's dance, the dance of destruction, is said to be a dance of symmetry. We'll watch this in just a minute. This statue was unveiled June 18th, 2004. This is a date with 48 numerology. The word symmetry has gematria of 48. As for Shiva itself, Shiva has gematria of 59, which is the kill number in Jewish gematria. And again, being the goddess of destruction, the word kill has something in common. Also, the goddess of change. Now what we're going to look at real quick is a Newsweek cover from November 21st, 2010. This cover got a lot of flack. It was Obama presented as Shiva. Newsweek is somebody that really loves to make coded headlines. Newsweek was established in the year 33 at the bottom of the Great Depression. Newsweek has gematria of 33 and 42 with the S exception. Again, established in the year 33, they had this headline on a date with 42 numerology, which happened to be one day before the 47-year anniversary of the assassination of JFK, who was the 44th term president. John F. Kennedy has Pythagorean gematria of 59, that kill number on Shiva, number coded on black Americans often. And he was the 44th term president. Obama's the 44th president, the first black president. Think about it. Number 59 coded on black people. Shiva equals 59, portraying Obama as Shiva. It's all part of a really sick joke. But this headline, God of all things, takes it a step further. God of all things has gematria of 68. The name Barack Obama in simple English gematria is 68. Recall that Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in 68 on 4/4, April 4th, a lot like 44, the kill number, as well as 59. True Seeker, if you write out 44 and if you write out April 4th and sum them, they sum to 144. We were just talking about JFK, who was assassinated November 22nd, 63. That's the first day of Sagittarius. Sagittarius has gematria of 144, just like 44 and April 4th. Talking about how all these things tie into major assassinations, major killings in this nation's history. With regards to 68, caskets go 6 feet deep and are 8 feet long. Shiva in Pythagorean gematria has a connection to 32, the American number. Hopefully you're following me. So let's go back a step, Truth Seeker. Talking about these numbers, we were just talking about 44 and what it has to do with destruction. Notice that the Large Hadron Collider was fired back up April 5th, 2015. 4/5/2015. 4 plus 5 plus 20 plus 15 is 44, the kill number. A lot of people say that CERN reminds them of HARP. HARP, this other tool owned by the military that happens to have gematria of 44. People say that HARP can cause earthquakes. People believe that CERN's Hadron Collider can cause earthquakes. And look here, the 44 connections. Is it a coincidence? I think not. Check this out, Truth Seeker. Excuse me, first I need to let you know this. This date, April 5th, 2015, the day they started this up, that was Easter Sunday this year. April 5th, 2015 was Easter Sunday. In history, there was this earthquake in 2010 on Easter Sunday in Baja, California. CERN and the Hadron Collider, I do not think were functioning at that time, but HARP was. And if you followed my work, I've shown how throughout the years, earthquakes have often coincided with 44 days. This earthquake was known as the Sierra El Mayor earthquake with that 113 gematria we were just talking about, coded into the word large, apocalypse. The word earthquake has Pythagorean gematria 44. Easter Sunday has Pythagorean gematria 44. And in 2010, Easter Sunday fell on April 4th, 4/4. This is what I mean when I say a history of earthquakes by the numbers. I've decoded many. This one is not unique. But I'm pointing it out because it fell on Easter, the same day they fired up this Hadron Collider, which some people speculate can cause earthquakes. And what I'm routinely showing is that the people who wage this madness in our world, they do things by the numbers, time and time again. Notice also that Easter Bunny Truth Seeker has gematria of 144, just like if you write out 44, just like if you write out April 4th. What's interesting about that is the number pi, 3.14, on. If you sum the first 144 decimal points of pi, they sum to 666, the number we started out with, talking about how CERN codes this number. The name Santa Claus has English gematria of 666. Think about Santa Claus and Easter Bunny in light of Christian holidays in this nation. We celebrate the death and the resurrection of Jesus with Easter, and we celebrate his birthday with Christmas. And they have these special numbers coded on them. All signs of what's really going on in this world and who's really running the show. I guarantee you all of these men here are Zionists. It is Masonic Zionists who are running the show, Truth Seeker. So, let's take a break from the numbers. What I want to show you is this dance of destruction that they put out in this promotional video this past spring. And then we'll do a little more decoding. And Truth Seeker, notice that they made the video 1:42 in length. This is no accident. The word terrorist equals 142. The attacks on September 11th that made terrorist a much bigger word in America lasted 1 hour and 42 minutes. The phrase President Obama equals 142, and just think about how his name rhymes with Osama, the person blamed for 9/11. All of this stuff is meant to cause anxiety in people. Most people in this world have no idea what CERN is. The people who are aware of it are mostly terrified of it, and for good reason. Because if it is real, we should be concerned that madmen are trying to recreate the Big Bang, search for dark matter, and do all the things that they're telling us they're trying to do in the headlines. It is madness, no matter how you slice it. Symmetry, True Seeker, a word with 39 gematria, 48 gematria. Remember, the Shiva statue at CERN was established on a date with 48 numerology. What we just watched was CERN's promotional video just before they relaunched on Easter Sunday. That Hindu symbolism. So that dance is known as Nataraja, which has gematria of 21 and 66. In my recent video on the Bangkok, Thailand shrine bombing, I talked about how the numbers coded on Hinduism are the same numbers coded on Christianity. Bible equals 21, the Bible's of 66 books. Revelation is the 66th book. Here, the dance that was just shown in the CERN video has these connections. Revelation has much to do with death and destruction. The name Shiva fits. 25 and 43, Truth Seeker, they're important numbers. I don't know their full meaning. 43 is often coded in massacres. The word Lord also has perfect symmetry with Revelation. Pythagorean gematria 22, Simple English 49. Again, Revelation has Pythagorean gematria 49 and is of 22 books. If you write out 22 and sum it, it sums to 39. Revelation is based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. All these numbers found all over CERN. This is a typo right here. Murder equals 79, not 88. Please ignore that. But anyway, Dance of Destruction has gematria of 79, which is the number for murder. 88 is another important number as well. In the Bible, Exodus, the second book, has 88 gematria. Words such as poison and program, gematria of 88. But notice how the word destruction has gematria of 49 itself, connected to Revelation. Revelation talks much of the destruction of the earth. And also, destruction with the S exception has gematria of 58, a number we're seeing coded an awful lot right now. Bangkok, Thailand has gematria of 58, where we saw the bombing of the Hindu shrine. The headlines, Truth Seeker, CERN to restart, Large Hadron Collider to search for dark universe. This is in addition to searching for dark matter. Dark universe has this gematria of 66 as well. What do you know? In Revelation, the final book of the Bible, it is said that the synagogue of Satan, the false Jews, will rule in the end times. And who those people are the Zionist Jews who oversee Israel, and long before Israel were overseeing many world governments, including the United States. The reason in this nation they don't teach us about World War I is because it's all about how it was set up for the creation of Israel. And people don't want us to know that piece. They want us to think that Israel came to be because of the evil man Hitler. You know, we're just told half-truths in this world. So get this, Truth Seeker. CERN, they said they discovered this particle that is nicknamed the God particle on the 4th of July, 2012. And if you're not aware, the word God is often written G-D. G is the 7th letter, D is the 4th. So G-D is a lot like 7-4, a lot like the date July 4th. And that's what date this God particle was supposedly discovered. Now look at this, Truth Seeker. The word God has gematria of 61, 156, and 26. If you spell out the word God, G's the 7th letter, O's the 15th, D's the 4th, God equals 26. Of course, the English alphabet is of 26 letters, and in gematria, which is thousands of years older than English, the God number is 26, showing that it was purposefully coded into the language. Again, God has Jewish gematria of 61. CERN turned, or will turn 61 years old, September 29th, the day after the final blood moon this year. The day after the final blood moon, CERN will turn 61 this year. But with regards to July 4th, I want you to notice how it has gematria of 156, one of these numbers connected to God. And they discovered the God particle on July 4th. Remember, they did it in the Hadron Collider. Hadron has this gematria of 33, like Big Bang in Genesis. If you write out 33 and sum it, it sums to 156. And as I always say, we find 33, 74, 26 often coded together. They're all numbers that are all tributes to God. Something I didn't understand when I started this research. But what I was saying back then is I could tell that it was Freemasons who are responsible for this coding. And look at the gematria of Masonic. 74, a lot like July 4th. If you've never read Revelation in your life, please find a Bible and read Revelation. It will be undeniable to you, especially with this knowledge in your mind beforehand. The numbers 7 and 4 are used more than any other numbers in Revelation, and they are very important numbers to the Bible. They're also very important to nuclear energy. Remember, CERN started with nuclear energy research. Nuclear and energy are what words with 74 gematria, just like the word weapon. And again, it is Freemasons who are behind this. Masonic. Of the 50 states, Truth Seeker, only one has a gematria of 74. It happens to be the 33rd state, Oregon. And as I was just saying, these numbers 7 and 4 are super important, especially in Revelation. In Christianity, the words Jesus are 74. Cross is 74. Messiah is 74. In the Quran, it's book 47 that speaks of the Messiah Muhammad, who also has gematria of 74. In the Quran, it is explained that Muhammad is just like Jesus, the latest prophet since him. And look at how the numbers align. They say Jesus is Jewish. Another word was 74 gematria. In the King James Bible, the word Lucifer is used, which has gematria of 74. And in the King James Bible, they spell the word Savior with an added U, which has Pythagorean gematria of 44. This website doesn't do Pythagorean gematria, but that spelling from the King James has gematria of 33. These numbers that are coded so heavily that we're talking about so much right here. My point is that everything about this CERN is by the numbers. And in the bigger picture, what I am revealing is that the people who are in control of science and spirituality in this world are this gang that operates by this code of numbers. So through my research, you cannot see if CERN is real or not. It's not enough. But what you can see is who is responsible for these headlines, who is doing this, and what it might really all be about. You know, it doesn't reveal the full truth, but it gives us knowledge we would otherwise not have. Now check this out, Truth Seeker. We've been talking a lot about 39, Hinduism. This recent projection of Kali was on the Empire State Building. Empire has Pythagorean gematria of 39, just like New York, just like New York's date of establishment. Remember, when you write out 22, it sums to 39. And here we got this projection of Kali, who's related to Shiva, on August 9th. Kali is the goddess of time. The word time in Jewish gematria has gematria of 144. The projection of Kali was on August 9th, the day that leaves 144 days left in the year. And Kali is the goddess of time, having to do with Hinduism. Here's what I want to show you, Truth Seeker. There was this earthquake in Nepal on April 25th, 2015, 4/25/15. This is a date with a 44 numerology connection as well. And remember, the word earthquake in Pythagorean gematria is 44. CERN started up on a 44 date. When this earthquake happened, I wasn't connecting it to CERN, but I noticed right away that the story was coding numbers relevant to New York. They also pulled this boy out of the rubble that was in a clean New York t-shirt, adding insult to injury. Notice that Kathmandu has gematria of 39 and 93, numbers that are super important to New York. Also, then they gave us the name of the boy. His name was Pemba Tamong, which has gematria of 39 and 93, just like Kathmandu. Just like the gematria connected to New York, the shirt he was wearing. And Truth Seeker, with regards to 82, these 82 photos, the word Armageddon has gematria of 82. Armageddon also comes from Revelation in the Bible. So this is the Nepal earthquake by the numbers with this coding that reminds us so much of New York, all this New York foreshadowing. And then also at that Nepal earthquake, Truth Seeker, the one main thing that was destroyed in the earthquake was an old temple dedicated to Shiva. Shiva. Connected to Kali. From the date of the earthquake to the date of August 9th when Kali was shown was a span of 106 days. And the reason this is concerning to me is because 106 is being coded a lot right now. 106 connects to prophecy. And I think what the powers that be are trying to tell us with all this coded symbolism is that a prophecy is being fulfilled against a people who are unknowing. Headlines from the Nepal earthquake. Again, all these 44 connections. Nepal has gematria of 48, like the word symmetry, connected to the date of establishment of the Shiva statue outside of CERN. And when I did this video, a lot of people said that this was the work of CERN. I was a skeptic. I still am. If you're not aware, CERN's underground in the mountains near the Alps. And another incident earlier this year that CERN was accused of being responsible for was the destruction of the Germanwings flight. I want to take you back to this in case you're new here, in case you've forgotten. This year, all of the major stories are being synced up with Lupercalia on the 44th day of the year. Lupercalia is this festival from the 44th day of the year. Lupercalia in Pythagorean gematria sums to 44. The destruction of the Germanwings flight happened on March 24th, days before CERN was restarted, but people thought it was CERN anyway. There was a rumor out that CERN had already been restarted. And what I would say is, all the headlines we're given in the media, we shouldn't believe them. We shouldn't know that any of the dates are true because we don't. Things are presented to us on a timeline that fits their scale. We could be lied to at the same time on this scale, if you follow me. Perhaps CERN was started long ago. Or perhaps, as my friend says, there's other CERNs in the world and we just don't know about them. They're just telling us about this one because it's the distraction. All of these things are possible. They're all things worth thinking about. Anyhow, from Lupercalia to the date of the destruction of that plane was a span of 39 days or 1 month and 11 days. And everywhere that day they used the phrase obliterated. Obliterated. Let me see if I have that up here somewhere, Truth Seeker. When the plane first was destroyed, every network was using the word obliterated to describe what happened to it, and obliterated has this same gematria as 111666, very much connected to CERN. Also very much connected to New York. New York in simple English gematria equals 111 and 666 in English gematria. But anyhow, this destruction of the plane in the Alps seemed to be by the numbers because it was destroyed on the 44th parallel. It had all these connections to Lupercalia, and it just fit the perfect pattern that we were documenting at the time. And of course, also, the other main reason is because where this plane was destroyed is in very close proximity to CERN. And if you're new here, just so you know, the pilots' names were Andreas Lubitz and Patrick Sonnenheimer, initials AL and PS, and this plane supposedly crashed into the Alps. I've done a ton of work on this Germanwings crash. There's a whole lot of information. I don't want to get too tangential. Please check out those videos if you've never seen them. But all this stuff is worth looking at and thinking about because they're all full of the exact same numbers that apply to CERN and so many atrocities that occur in this world. So I hope this post wasn't too confusing. I know it's not going to answer everyone's questions about CERN, but at the same time, I think I've put out a lot of information that people weren't aware of, and it shows who is truly responsible for all this madness, all these crazy headlines. You know, we live in a world where there's all these real problems that need serious solving. But instead of solving those problems with our intelligence and our resources, we choose to forgo doing that in favor of scientific madness, such as nuclear weapons and Large Hadron Colliders that are trying to recreate the Big Bang. Everybody knows that if that technology is real, it is dangerous, it presents a real threat to us. And in that same thought, that's the perfect reason for it to be the ultimate lie, because of the fear it creates. And for we in the mainstream, we're left with very few tools to see if these threats, these fears are even real. So have no fear, truth seeker. Knowledge is power. We need to expose this gang, and we need to change this world for the better. The power needs to be taken from the Zionists and restored to the people so that we can work on the problems of the day. Stop having to live under the tyranny of threats such as the Large Hadron Collider and madmen trying to recreate the Big Bang. No matter what your spirituality, you should recognize the madness that this is. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time. Truth Seeker, important point I forgot to make. If things happen in threes, New York should be concerned, especially with the recent Cali projection on the Empire State Building. Assume that New York was the first major tragedy in Sandy, as in Hurricane Sandy was the second. A third incident might very well be coming. The reason New York is the perfect target is because all of these incidents that are waged against us are meant to change culture. And think about what a cultural center New York is. If you attack a place like Omaha, Nebraska, that will get people's attention. But it won't have the same impact as if you attack a place like New York City, which is recognized as one of the largest cities in the world. Also, as we've been talking about through this entire video, the numbers of revelation are very significant in all of these incidents, and New York has more revelation numbers coded on it than any other place in this world. And I can tell you that because I've taken the time to decode every state, every country, and a whole lot more. Since I've learned about this research, I've made it my passion, not because it's fun to me, but because I think it's really important knowledge, and I'm really determined to spread truth in this world and do whatever I can to stop the next 9/11 and from this world slipping into an even worse place than it already is. I recognize that not enough people in this world are doing God's work, which is so necessary to stop the evil, or however you want to put it, that is upon us. So anyway, just look at the gematria of New York. Connections to 111 and 666, numbers we've talked about a lot. 666 comes from Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible. New York is the 11th state. If you sum 1 through 11, it sums to 66. Now notice the gematria of Revelation. Focus on 726 first. New York was established July 26th, 726, 1788. And the first governor of New York was George Clinton, who would become the fourth vice president as well. Look at his birthday, July 26, 1739. Check this out, Truth Seeker. July's establishment date, 7/26/88. If you add 7 plus 26, that's 33, plus 88 more is 121. And 121 is one of the other numbers of Revelation. 11 squared sums to 121. Again, New York's the 11th state. If you sum 1 through 11, it totals 66. Revelation's the 66th book. This coding is deep on New York, known as the Big Apple. Apple has gematria of 50, just like America. New York is the cultural center for the United States of America and more, because the United States has become a cultural center for the rest of the world. Americanization has become an international thing. A lot more nations are becoming a lot more like America. Also, just with regards to New York, remember, Revelation is based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. George Clinton was born in the year 39. Show you this gematria calculator real quick, Truth Seeker, in case you haven't seen this one at Riding the Beast. If you go to this drop-down menu and pick English Reduction, it does Pythagorean gematria without the exceptions. Notice that New York is 39. Empire is 39. We had that Cali projection on the Empire State Building. George is 39. These numbers that get coded over and over and over. The establishment date of New York, 7/26/1788. If you add it digit for digit, another fair form of numerology, the establishment date is 39. Again, Revelation based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. The United Nations in New York is 39 floors tall. And with regards to the United Nations, CERN is located very close to the United Nations. The United Nations symbol is broken up into 33 spaces. Another important number to the Masonic Zionists. Remember, George Clinton is the original governor of New York. Clinton, one of those names with 33 gematria. The numbers we find coded. So I just wanted to make that last point about New York. Think about it in light of how the Nepal earthquake seemed to be connected to New York. Are they telling us of things to come? Right now there's headlines in this nation about major earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest. Perhaps the media is cluing us in, but giving us clues about the wrong coast. One last point, Truth Seeker. Revelation, I can't think of it off of the top of my head. I want to look up the Bible verse about Revelation and blood moons. Remember, CERN is going to turn 61 years old, September 29th. This is the day after the final blood moon, September 28th. From the King James Version, "And I beheld, when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood." So perhaps all the clues are here, Truth Seeker. All these things lining up, all this symbolism in front of our face lately. And as I say, these people are using Revelation as the playbook. Blood moons, earthquakes. We'll see shortly enough. Should any of this materialize, remember what you heard here in this video. Please spread this knowledge, Truth Seeker. All right, until next time.